had some questions about number 2 here on Race Set Go 4.6, so I figured I'd go over it with you guys. Alright, so we're looking at a situation where Jade takes a math test with 20 questions. Each question is worth equal number of points. The whole test is worth 100 points. Now we're asked to write an equation that can be used to calculate Jade's score based on the total number of questions she got right on the test. Now, believe it or not, you guys do this type of math a lot. You have 20 questions on a test, and the whole thing ends up being equal 100 points. How can I figure out how much each question is worth? So if I have 100 points in total, and I got 20 questions, 100 points per 20 questions, you can just think of it as like a fraction, or in this case a division problem. That would tell me that if I simplified this, 5 points for one question. That's how a lot of kids do this as well. Just do a straight division problem. That works too. So, that's one way of getting there. We get 5 points per question. So now we know that. We're trying to figure out our score in the test. We have 5 points per question. We don't know how many questions we're going to be getting right. We'll call that x. And I've established that up here. X, number of questions right. And then, ultimately, that's going to give us our score, which we don't know what it is. We'll call it y. So now I've set up an equation for this. So now, if a score is earned of 70 points, how many questions would you need to get right to get at least a C-? Okay. So, we want to figure at least 70. So that means we could get greater or equal to. So now we want to figure out how many questions we'd have to get right. Well, we know each question's worth 5 points apiece. We don't know how many questions. So now we got ourselves a basic inequality. Now I'm going to use the division property of inequalities by dividing each side by 5 here. By doing that, I get 14 and then x, which tells me I would need to, or in this case, Jade would need to get 14 or more questions right. Because she can get more questions than that. That's awesome, because you're going to get higher than the 70 questions correct. Again, I guarantee that a number of you probably do this when you're taking tests. I've seen people do this. They sit there and try and figure out how much each question's worth. And they figure out, okay, well, if I get this one wrong, can I still get an A? You know, stuff like that. So if a grade of 83 earns a B, how many questions would you need to get right to get at least a B? Alright, so I can get an 83, or Jade can. She can also get higher. So we're going to go with 5x here. Now in this case, probably going to notice something. Again, it's going to be the same process, just dividing by 5. But when we do that, we're going to get a decimal, or we're going to get a mixed number. 16 3/5. So, can I get 16 3/5 questions right? It doesn't sound like they have partial credit here. So we want to figure out how many questions. Now, if we get 16, that's not going to work, because 16 times 5 would give me 80. That's not high enough. So it's going to have to be higher than 16. So, in this case, we'd have to get 17 or more questions correct. Assuming that there's no partial credit. Alright, now for part D. It says Jade got a score of 60% and then was allowed to retake the test. On a retake, she got all the questions right that she got right the first time, and also got half the questions right she got wrong the first time. What percentage of questions did she get right in total on the retake? Alright, so let's see here. Got a score of 60, and on the retake she got all the questions right she got right the first time, and also half the questions right she got wrong the first time. Okay. So, we want to figure out what percent did she get right on total on the retake. Okay, so we know that she got 60% equaled 5x. That's what she ended up getting the first time. Okay. Now we also know, let's see, we don't know what she got right on the second retake. So y equals the score. We don't know what that is in this case. But I do know this. I know that, let's see, I could even solve for x here. I think it's a good idea. I'm going to do that. In that case, I get 12 equals x. This is going to help me out a bit now. Because now I know that, let's see, we've got 12 times 5, and then it says she got half the questions she got wrong the first time. So, let's figure this out now. If she got, let's see, 12 right, let's figure out how many she got wrong. If I take 20 questions minus 12, that'll tell me how many she got wrong. And now it's telling me she got half of them right. So if I want to figure out half of something, I'd have to divide it by 2. So I'm going to just move this over here. And I can even call this y to figure out their new score. Alright, so let's figure this out. I know this is 60. And now let's see. What I also want to figure out is, I forgot something very important here. To figure out, once I figure out the number of questions she got right, I gotta multiply that by 5. That's pretty important. That's going to ultimately give me her score, because you have to multiply it by 5 points. Forgot to do that. It's alright, that's why we go back and fix these things. 20 minus 12 is going to give me 8 over 2. I'm going to multiply that by 5. Equals y. Alright. 8 over 2 equals 4 times 5. Again, I'm just going to use order of operations. 60 plus 20 is going to give me y, which in this case equals 80. So I figured it out. She got 80% of the questions right this time on the retake. Alright, so again, how I went back and did this. I knew she got a score of 60%. So actually I'm going to use a different color than that. But I knew she got 60%. I knew each question was worth 5 points. So in order to, I figured out how many questions she got right, which was 12. So, second time around, I know she got those 12 questions right, times 5 would give me the total number of points. Now, she also got half of the questions she got wrong the first time. She got them right this time. So I knew we had 20 questions the first time. I took away the questions she got right, because that would represent the number wrong. And then I divide it by 2, because that would represent half of that. So that's half of the questions she got wrong. And then I multiply it by 5, because I'm earning points for the ones that she get right. Because ultimately, that's going to tell me the number she got wrong divided by 2 tells me the half that she got right. Multiply it by 5, and that's how I solved this. This wasn't an easy problem, so I wanted to walk you through it a little bit. There are a number of ways you could have gotten there, too. Chances are, you might be talking to someone, they might have said, I got it a little bit differently, but I got the same answer. That's cool. You're going to find that there are a number of ways to solve problems like this. So, this is a tough problem. If you got the first, like A, B, and C, you're in pretty good shape. If you got D, I'd say you're in excellent shape. If you're able to get at least part of D, then, pat yourself on the back. You're doing pretty well with this. Inequality word problems aren't easy, and equation ones aren't easy either. Word problems can be tough. As you can see, what I do a lot is I highlight stuff, I look for keywords, I circle. That's one of the best ways to help you get around this. Hopefully this helps.